Thank you so much for that question. I particularly love that question because we are in an age and time where it seems like information is readily available. And so someone can just say, I want to learn how to build a business. And it goes on YouTube and types how to build a business and starts watching a video. And then he can come out tomorrow and say, I have the knowledge of building a business and I want to I've launched my business. And where did they learn business from? How to, from YouTube. And you see multiple of that happening because a lot of young people have started growing autonomous, feeling they can figure it out because of the availability of information, right? However, I've learned something very important in my journey, which is the fact that a lot of times you don't need to repeat a mistake to avoid the mistake. So I'll say that again. Sometimes if you make a mistake once, you will learn from it, and so that you can avoid it next time. But you don't need to make that mistake to avoid it. To a large extent, you can have someone who have made the mistake and help you to avoid that mistake by telling you about the mistake. And you, by virtue of that opportunity of learning, can avoid that mistake without making that mistake. And I think that's where mentorship comes in very handy, right? It's being able to see things from the sight of someone who has seen it. And one thing people don't know is that you can know something, but when you apply that thing, it's different. So you can know entrepreneurship, but when you now get into the business of entrepreneurship, it's totally different from what you knew or what you read on YouTube. And so at the bottom line is being able to identify people who have walked that path and say, okay, how do I learn from this person who have walked this path, right? And that's what mentorship does. So for me, mentorship is a very vital instrument for entrepreneurial growth across the continent. And that's why we had a structured mentorship plan for the African Business Accelerator, where we can keep founders in front of entrepreneurs who have some level of experience and wealth of, exposure, and help these people see what they don't see. In the village, they say when an elder sits down in a chair, he sees what is higher than a young man who climbs an Iroko tree to see. And so sometimes you want to sit down with those people and listen to them. And that's why I also appreciate you, sir, because beyond, you have quite a lot of experience. You've been able to find a way to communicate to those young people. And I'm glad that there are young people, like myself, who have gained from your wealth of experience. There's some level of understanding I have today. And when I take a line and draw it, I always link it back to a conversation I had with you, right? I always trace it back to a conversation I had with you. And imagine I didn't have an opportunity to speak with you. I remember earlier this year, I threw out this opportunity, the idea of the accelerator, and I threw it to you. And by the time I finished speaking with you, it was easy for me to now know how best to approach this. Imagine I had not done that. Imagine I just went on. I would have made a lot of mistakes, and that mistake would have cost us a lot. I'm sure probably, but I'm glad I was able to engage with you. I was glad I was able to speak to you. In that way, I was able to understand better, avoid some of the loopholes that I didn't see, and then help me to even move faster. That's what mentorship does. And that's how important it is to the continent.
Fantastic. Someone has walked the path. Someone can help you avoid the mistakes they made. And knowing it in one's head is not the same as being able to execute. Thank you for sharing. Yes, so this is where we'll pause our conversation today. The conversation continues as always on Iwineti Africa. I'd like to thank you, Ted, Professor David, for your work at the African Assembly, at Genetic, and at Claude Media. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of resilience, a lot of traffic, a lot of growth. Thank you very much for today, and we'll see you another time.